Hello, everybody, and welcome back to more Rising Phoenix Racing League. Today we have Brazil. Is round 7 of season 4, and currently with 18 drivers. Hopefully, we can get two more. Maybe they're just running a little bit late um, before we can start, or maybe we'll just have to start with 18. Still a lot, so it's still good. But um, yeah. So last time out we had Canada, if I am not mistaken, and yeah, this time it's Brazil. So yeah, just waiting for some drivers to show up, I believe, and then we'll get going. Alright, so today we have Bazooka Joe, Flex Marcel, Racing Maestro, Jizzy, Jay Prentice, Shay T, Black Phoenix, JJig, Jack King, Vapor Trench, I believe that's Trench HD, I believe, his new name, Anton Bennett, Pyro, Buttonsback, V Rita, Kono, Gamaz, Legend, Big Slater, myself, and other LS as an additional spectator. Not really sure what to say at this point since we're just waiting, so I'm just gonna be quiet until we get going. Oh. Alright, here we go. So let's see if it will be wet or dry quali, and a wet or dry race. Hello to everyone watching. I think we have 6 viewers now, so that's pretty cool. Alright, oh, wet qualifying. Nice. Okay, I think it is inters, based on the fact that everyone is automatically on inters. Inter conditions. So just like in the, well, me and one of my friends had a little practice session before this, and it was also inter condition qualifying. So let's see who is out first and how they handle the tricky Interlagos damp track. Oh, that is a Renault. That is Button coming out first, of course, on the Inters, followed by Black Phoenix in the McLaren. So now it might dry up later on in the session, just like it did in my little practice that I did about an hour ago, as I previously mentioned. But it might not. So we'll see if everyone will get a free choice of tires, or if it'll dry up, and then they'll have to strategize which tires they want to go out on to start the race with. Alright, so Conal also out, third person out, followed by Gamez, and then a bunch of other drivers. Button's teammate, Pyro's coming out. That's a Racing Point coming out. And then we have Trench also coming out behind. So Button was the first one out, so let's go with him and see how he does on his first flying lap. And let's see if he uses full ERS, and or let's see if he goes into a maybe 3 or 2 or 4, 5 or 4 or 3 or 2, because more wheel spin can be a bad thing in a wet track, and sometimes, especially if it's fully wet, going on a lower ERS mode can usually help you actually gain time, especially on the slow speed corners. As Button, well, due to traction and stuff like that, wheel spin, as Button unfortunately invalidates his time at turn 2. And that is Black Phoenix almost losing it at turn 3. Still holds it though. Oh, almost again, losing it there again. As I believe that is Big Slater letting someone through. A lot of invalidated laps here already. People getting used to the conditions. It isn't easy, so I don't blame them for having struggles, but hopefully they'll get used to it eventually. As Jack has unfortunately left, probably connection issues. Alright, so let's see if Button goes for another run here, or if he's going to come into the pits. I believe the second driver is Black Phoenix, so he's currently on a valid time, although he had a couple moments, so it's not going to be too competitive, or at least not what he would have wanted it to be. But let's see what he posts. It's going to be a 120.478. So that's currently pole, which then gets beaten by 2 seconds by Conal in the Toro Rosso. Next we have well, Jay, and then we have Big Slater. Next up, in terms of driving, or on a hot lap, we have Gamez. So that's going to be a 118 as well, a 118.6. So that's P2 in the Williams. Next up, we have Pyro, followed by Trench. 122 for Pyro, 119 for Trench, 118.4 for Jizzy, and 120.4 for I missed someone. I don't know who though. Oh, Flex Marcel, new pole. Ooh, as Big Slater has retired from the session. Probably crashing at the corner that got a lot of people back in season 2. Especially in the wet conditions, it's going to be very tricky. So Big Slater, yep, thoughts confirmed there. Unfortunately, the first person to get caught out by the conditions fully, as Black Phoenix sets a much better lap time, a 17.2, as cars are getting out of the way for Legend. That's a Renault and a Haas. And now we have, I believe that's Gamez in front of Legend here. So let's follow Legend as he completes his third sector. You can see on the wheel there, just going back and forth a little bit, just trying to find the right grip. Trying to find the edge of adhesion there on the tires. Ooh, as someone spun, a Haas has spun. I believe it is, well, I'm not sure. When Jizzy's been disqualified for going the wrong way, as Legend sets provisional pole with a 17.1. Let's see. Racing Maestro 19.6, J Prentice 19.6, J Jig 21.7, Pyro 22.3. Let's see. Anton's on a lap. Ooh, as Rita by 300ths of a second, just over. 31 hundredths. Or 3.1 hundredths. 31 milliseconds over Legend to go pole position for the moment. So next one to cross the line, we have Anton here, followed by a bunch of cars, 6 more cars, all in close proximity. Ooh, as Anton spins at Jun Sao, and that is his lap, unfortunately ruined. So he's gonna have to wait for everyone to come through now, or he risks obscuring. Ooh, Shay T there, but Shay T is on an out lap, so it's not too big of a deal, as it won't affect his lap time too much. I hope he can still get a really good time. Anton will continue to finish the lap and go for another run right away. But then has a very bad turn 1, very slippery. I believe it's getting wetter actually. It appears, at least by Anton's wheel control. It seems to be very difficult to control that car. And he invalidates the next lap as well by going slightly off track. So quite a nightmare of a session so far for the Toro Rosso driver. As we have Shay T here on a hot lap. I really like his the blue in his helmet, or is that green? It's like a turquoise sort of. Yeah. Black Phoenix takes back pole position with a 16.8. So I don't know. It seems to be getting wetter, but the track seems to be getting faster. So I'm quite confused. Maybe it's just maybe Anton's tires were just really hot, so it's kind of messed them up a little bit. And so purple second sector from Shay T. And he comes up to the line. It is P8. Alright, very nice. Alright, so I think let's go to Racing Maestro. Oh, he's down on his time by a lot, unfortunately. 4 seconds. Ooh, as Jay almost has a massive accident there. 1 second up on his time. 2.7 actually. Goes P10 with a 19.0. As we have Conal here. A little bit down on his time, but we'll see if he can make it up. He's followed by, that is J Prentice, who's on an in-lap, I would assume. Yes. And then he is followed by a McLaren coming to the pits. So that will be Black Phoenix. As Jay lets Pyro go. Pyro's on an out lap here. Meanwhile, his teammate is on an invalidated lap, unfortunately. Invalidated hot lap. And then he is followed by, that is Shay T. So let's see if Shea-T goes in for another run. I believe he is. Yes, he is. Alright, so this will be another attempt here, I believe. As the Red Bull's coming in, that's Bazooka. Oh no, that's Legend, I think. Bazooka Joe hasn't left the pits yet. Yeah. Let's see, we have, yeah, Pyro. Let's go on with Pyro. First lap wasn't too representative of what he can do, so he's hoping for, obviously, a better run this time. Oh, and a huge off there, and his lap unfortunately is ruined again, just as it starts. He's lucky he doesn't have. He's lucky he doesn't have damage though. So if I were him, I would put it down into no ERS, lean fuel, and just try to go for another run right away. You know, use this lap as sort of a second out lap. Because the inters can go, well, unless you're starting on the inters for the actual race, if the race is wet. If you are, then you have to be careful not to use the tires up too much. But if you aren't, if it's going to be a dry race to start, or you're starting on the wets, like full wets, then you might as well just use all the life you can in the tires. You might as well get as many laps in, get 5 or 6 laps in. It doesn't really matter. Like all in a row, you know? If you have enough fuel in the tank, then just going for it makes sense. Ooh, as Rita takes back pole position, 16.615. So slightly edging out Black Phoenix once again. And as Pyro is coming into the pits. So Anton's coming out. Let's see Bazooka Joe. He hasn't set a time yet. So let's see what he can do on his first, hopefully first, well, I think this is his first attempt. Oh, as Jack has joined back, so that's really good. Hopefully he can get a couple of runs in before the end. Yeah. There's definitely a line, a sort of grippier tire line thing forming on the surface. It was Bazooka Joe gets invalidated at turn 2, like we saw before, with I believe, I think it was, I don't know who that was actually. I think it was Anton or something, or someone who also had something similar to that at turn 2. But yeah, it's happened again, unfortunately, for another driver. As you have Anton starting his lap, currently not representative, with a time only a 1:27. He can definitely do better than that, so let's hope he can go for it this lap. Ooh, but he has another incident very similar to what happened just moments ago. Not with him, but with I believe that was I believe Pyro, I think it was. Correct me if I'm wrong though. My memory's not too good. But yeah, Anton with another very, it's going to be another unrepresentative lap. So yeah, he's just saving ERS. Gonna have to go for one more attempt. This will probably be his last attempt, this next upcoming lap at a hot lap. So he'll have to make it count, because currently he's not in an ideal position at all. Alright, as we have Bazooka Joe as well on a hot lap. First lap was a 1:24, but it wasn't validated. Thankfully, this one isn't invalidated. Oh, commentator's curse. As soon as I say that, he goes slightly wide at turn 5. And unfortunately invalidates his time yet again, as Rita goes even quicker. Ooh, as Legend is up in the P2 now as well. Legend with a 16.8, and Rita with a 16.3. Black Phoenix with a 16.8. Trench with a 17.5, and Flex with an 18.1 for your top 5 at the moment. So yeah, I hope Jack can get out before the end of the session. I hope Anton can get a better time, and I hope Bazooka Joe can get a better time as well. Let's see what. Okay, so let's see. Oh, Black Phoenix just set a better time at 16.5. So that's very good for him. A very impressive lap. Ooh, as Pyro is up by quite a bit. 1.2 seconds in the first sector. So let's follow him here. A little bit of rear sliding there into the hairpin. But he keeps it very well. Very careful on the throttle, trying not to overspin the rear wheels. Very carefully into Jinsao, the final real corner. And now blasting up the hill. A little bit on the grass, but that's okay. DRS not activated because it's wet. And it's going to be P13 with a 20.9. So definitely better than his last attempt. I think it was 2 seconds better or so. Ooh, as Anton retires, and so does Shay T. I believe Anton probably had an invalidated time again, and there was no point of going again because he probably had not enough fuel, so he just retired the car. Very unfortunate session for Anton. First lap had a mistake in it. Obviously, he wanted to correct that, and then every other lap he unfortunately just couldn't. Kept having validations. Oh, as we had I think that was Black Phoenix off the track there, and we have a couple spins. I believe that's definitely Legend. Letting people through. Oh, he was doing very well too. Only half a tenth down on his time. Very competitive time so far, but that will be the end of his session, I believe, unless he tries to go for one more lap, which is always possible. But his ERS will be out by the end, so we will have to see. As here we have Trench, 17.5 currently as his best time. I believe on an in-lap actually, I think. Maybe? Or maybe he, this is the hot lap, but he's just not using ERS. Ooh, little squirmy there. But that, of course, is to be expected on a track that is in intermediate conditions. Here we go, the two Williams pretty close together. Ooh, as Flex goes right through Racing Maestro. That was quite odd. Or just narrowly avoids him. Not sure what happened there. But now we have Trench and Vapor. Or no, Trench and Gamez, sorry. Gamez goes up into P5 and Vapor stays in P4. I think I'll just, call him Vapor at this point. Whatever he wants me to call him, I'll do it. Alright, so on board with Jay Prentice. As the session comes to a close, I'm not sure if Jay is going to be able to start a new lap. I don't think that was his goal anyway. But he's P12 for Jay. Jack has retired from the session. And Jack actually set a time of an 18.0, which I missed, unfortunately. But that puts him P8. Let's see. Jay Prentice up by 1/10 on his time. As Gamez retires as well. And here comes Jay Prentice. It is P10. Oh, as I believe that is Black Phoenix's car crashed out there. Or is that Jay's? Yeah, it's Jay's. And then Legend goes P3. And then we have Bazooka Joe, whose car is also crashed out. Very interesting. When someone's, I believe, I can't tell if that's retired or spun. It's retired. It was Gamez's car. That white dot there in Sector 3. Okay, last person to cross the line is the Renault, I believe, of Button. I think. Or maybe it's Pyro. It was a Renault though, I think. So yeah, that's qualifying. Alright, so your full qualifying order is V-Rita on pole position, Black Phoenix very close behind, half a tenth. Then we have Legend, Trench, Marcel, Gamez, Bazooka Joe, Jack, King, Bunsback, Conal, J Prentice, Shay Racing Maestro, J Jig, Pyro, Anton, Big Slater, and Jizzy. Big Slater and Jizzy unfortunately DNFing, and Bennett unfortunately not having a good session either. Alright, so now it's time for the race. Oh, and it is wet for the race as well, apparently. Just a little update. Actually, never mind. All good. Okay. Alright, but yeah, it's a wet race as well. It looks to be inters as well. So, yeah. Oh, I think if it's wet, I think you start new tires anyway, no matter even if quality was wet as well. So actually, I may have been wrong about the tires moving over sessions anyway. Oh, never mind. They are on dry tires. Um, but it is raining. That's very strange. I did have a situation like this when I used to or in my old league. It was at Monaco, and it was like a year and a half ago, I think, at this point. But yeah, it was raining like this, but we had dry tires the whole way through, and it was very tricky. um, but yeah, hopefully the drivers can navigate this track in these conditions. Alright, so let's get everything set up. Position change at the start. Oh, tires. Alright, so the top 5 all choosing to go onto the softs. Then we have Gamez. Okay, everyone on the softs, basically, except for Gamez and Button. So yeah, I believe it will be, if you're on the softs, it will be, for 50% race, if you're on the softs to start, new softs, it'll be a soft medium or a soft hard strategy, I think. At least that's what I would do, I think. If I was on the mediums, Gamez and Button, I would probably medium, either medium soft or medium hard would be the best way to go. Medium hard obviously would be the very safest way, but if you had damage, then you'd be screwed because you'd have to make another pit stop that you wouldn't normally make. So everyone wants to just stay out of trouble, especially Gamez and Button, I would say. Because if they get damaged and have to pit, they will have to pit again in the race for sure. Because the hards will not last 35 laps, even if they pit on lap 1. So even if they go 5 or 6 laps, I don't think the hards can go 30 laps anyway. Probably, yeah, probably not. Yeah. From my experience, I think the mediums can go around 21 laps or 2019 or something, and the softs can go around 11. But yeah, we will see. Alright, so everyone is lined up. We have Rita and Black Phoenix with clear tracks, or a clear track ahead. 5 red lights here in wet Interlagos. Lights out, and away we go. It's a better start for Black Phoenix than it is for Rita. Black Phoenix is coming up alongside, but Rita stays in the lead. Oh no, never mind. Black Phoenix is in the lead of the race. Let's see, a little bit of contact at the back. Very slow start, obviously, being wet, or like pseudo wet, sort of half wet. But yeah, Black Phoenix leads the race from Rita, getting a really good start off the line. Let's see what's happening closer to the back. A lot of cars going wide at turn 4. Let's hope this turn isn't scary. Oh, it's going to be scary. It's going to be scary as we have Shady. Oh, almost getting collected by other people after spinning off of someone. Not sure who that was. But for position changes, we have Shady obviously with the worst start. Anton's had a pretty good start so far. But it is only the first lap of 36. And there is rain coming down, so we don't know what's going to happen. Alright. So yeah, a very tricky race in store for all the drivers today. So at the end of lap 1, Black Phoenix, of course, fastest lap. And he leads from Rita. Legend overtaking Trench right here. As we can see, Trench is back into P3. So it's Black Phoenix, Rita, Trench, Legend, Marcel as your top 5. Over here, oh, we have Jay getting very loose. Oh, and Jay's gonna hit the wall. Jay has hit the wall, and that might be a no. That's a full or almost basically his whole front wing gone, but he is still in the race. Luckily, as Shady is in the pits for a new wing. And he's going on to the mediums. As Jack gets a penalty for corner cutting. Oh, and there's some very interesting action going on there between those two cars. I think they're like, I don't know, but yeah, some inappropriate action going on between some F1 cars on the track. Was we have Jay. I'm not sure what happened to him, but oh, but he is. All right, he was the one who spun. I just reported that. Oh my god, I'm so forgetful. Oh my god, I'm so forgetful. Anyways, let's see what's going on for P7 here. Gamez defending from Jay Prentice. I'm not sure if DRS will be enabled or not. Oh yeah, it will be. Yeah, as we can clearly see. It is not wet enough for it to be disabled. So, ooh, as we have someone who has spun apparently. It is Trench. And now Gamez is creeping up on Legend and passes him. And he's gonna pass Jack as well. And now Jay Prentice is in on it too. A lot of cars in a small space right now. Jack gets a penalty for ignoring yellow flags. And I believe the rain is getting harder, actually. Oh, as Gamez goes off and Jack and Jay Prentice touch. But yeah, the rain is definitely getting harder. As Gamez is struggling to get back onto the track. Being on the grass can be very difficult. But now we have a big train as the rain seems to be getting more intense. And they're still on the dry tires, so this is going to be interesting. 3 wide into turn 1. Will not go. Legend gets half spun and then gets passed by Anton as well. As Gamez goes wide at turn 1 but rejoins. Now we have Jack on Jay Prentice. Let's see if he will dive it. He shows the nose but then backs out of it at the last moment. Probably the smartest idea. Not to go for that dive. He was quite far back. Probably wasn't going to work anyway. Ooh, as that's Racing Maestro getting all squirmy off of turn 5. Now he's under threat from Legend into turn 6. Legend, he's there, and Legend is passed. Maestro with no damage. Just a little bit shaken from the incident, probably. Has to re-get his, re-find his bearings. But I think he has, and he's back into it. But yeah, the rain is really catching people out here. Let's see what the fastest lap is. Let's see how much it's affected lap times. Yeah, cars are probably about 5 seconds, 6 seconds slower than what they would be. They're like 4.5, 5 seconds slower than what they would be on a completely dry track. So it's definitely having a big effect on the drivers. As we have Racing Maestro, or well, we have someone was battling. Oh yeah, here we go. Racing Maestro and Bazooka Joe. I couldn't see Joe there; he was in the blind spot. But Joe is passed. And now we're seeing Jizzy on Racing Maestro, barely gaining a little bit, but he's going to send it down the inside. They're going to go side by side. Maestro gets pushed off wide, but then has to come back onto the track and almost collides with Jizzy there. Well, someone spun. I think it's Flex Marcellus spun. Yeah, it is Flex Marcel, the only racing point. I believe. Yes. Flex Marcel has spun and is now under immense pressure from Trench and for P3. Oh, and here goes Trench into Jun Sao. Ooh, barely clips the front wing, his rear tire, but he gets past pretty cleanly. So yeah, very good move from Trench. As Ridas, that's the fastest lap with a 15.8. He is currently faster than Black Phoenix. And yeah, it's 10 seconds back to everyone else. The top two have just flown away here, as Jay Prentice and Jack are side by side, and so is Marcel and Trench. From Anton's point of view here, as Anton's going to be looking to get past Jack, as I believe Jack may have some slight damage. Oh, as Legend's in there as well. Anton's keeping it in as well. Legend does have damage, that's for sure, on his right side. Alright, so the rain has now stopped. Ooh, and Jack gets a little bit squirmy out of turn 5. So let's just see what happens here. Black Phoenix, fastest lap with a 13.7. So lap times are definitely coming down very quickly, as the track is no longer wet. And the sun is about to come out, I believe. Big Slater, fastest lap, 13.6. As we're going to have a four-way battle here for P5. Jay Prentice, Jack, Legend, and Anton. Although Anton may be a little bit too far to do anything at the moment. But Legend is very well close enough. And the Jack is going to maintain that P6 as Jay Prentice starts to pull away a little bit. But now Legend coming back up the inside of turn 6 here into turn 7. Dives it up the inside into turn 7. And they're side by side. But Jack stays in front. And despite what I thought, Jack doesn't have any damage. Or if he does, it's extremely, extremely light. So he is all good to go. Alright, so let's see the tires now. A 12.2 for Black Phoenix. Track is pretty much at its normal race pace now. Or very close to it. But yeah, the top two. Rita in P2 has a penalty. As now we have a big train here. As Bun gets a penalty. Oh, Legend a little bit loose there, off of turn 5. Alright, so now for P10, we have Big Slater closing in on Bazooka Joe around the outside of the little slight corner before the finish line and into turn 1, and Slater has got it. That's now Legend and Jack on J Prentice. Here we go for P5. Black Phoenix 11.2 fastest lap. And here we go, Jack versus J Prentice into turn 1. They collide. They touch again. Ooh, and Jack gets half spun a little bit there by the contact. And then comes into contact with Anton a little bit, I believe. Gets a little bit of a punt. Unintentional, of course. But, oh! But that one was much bigger, and that was from Jizzy, who also forces his way past Big Slater into P9. Yeah, I definitely saw that one on Anton's POV. There was definitely a push there. From Jizzy, as he went to block Jizzy from getting through. I'm not sure whose fault that would be, because I only saw Anton's POV of it, but that might be looked at after the race by the stewards. Here we go, Jizzy on Anton once again. This time he's up alongside fully, and he is passed. I believe both of them will have DRS though, so it's a slipstream battle now. As Big Slater's also getting in on it. It might be 3 wide here going into turn 1. Not quite 3 wide, but ooh, a little bit of contact between the Alpha and the Toro Rosso. A little bit of contact again on the exit of turn 1, or turn 2. Oh, but up here we have J Prentice versus Jack. As JJ gets a penalty. A little bit of a cutback attempt there by the Mercedes. Unfortunately didn't work, although Jay did get loose off of turn 5. Pushing really hard on those tires that are starting to go off a little bit, I would assume by now. But yeah, up at the front, Black Phoenix and Rita leading away from everyone else. Flex maintaining a semi-consistent gap to them. He's lost about a second in the last 6 laps. Ooh, as Jack goes straight on and has to completely slow down and loses multiple positions, and that's just ruined a lot of hope for him. I thought it was a lag issue at first, but no, he just lost it and had to go completely across the grass, losing him lots of time and lots of positions as well. Haas versus Alpha here. Slater versus Jizzy. Into turn 1 and 2. Slater gets through. As Maestro is into the pits for another set of softs. Ooh, someone has spun. I believe that is JJ. Yeah, it must be JJ. Spun at the little kink corner there. As a lot of people are coming into the pits. A lot of people getting penalties for speeding in the pits as well. So let's see what they all go on to. As Jizzy versus Slater is still happening, with Anton there defending from Bazooka Joe. Although Bazooka is too far back to make a move at the moment. Here we go. Flex Marcel on fresh mediums versus Gamez on semi-worn hards. Or, no, Flex on fresh softs versus Gamez on slightly worn mediums. There we go. And here we go into turn 1, or even before turn 1. I think he'll get past comfortably. Yep, and there we go. Marcel's up into P9. As Bazooka Joe goes wide. Oh, and there's a VSC out now. Not sure why, but there is a VSC out. So let's see what the leaders do. Now this is crucial. Rita pits as Phoenix stays out. So Rita's going to gain some time on Phoenix here. Not sure how much time, but definitely some time from pitting under this VSC. And it's going to the mediums, of course. Yeah, so VSC back in. So I wonder if that is going to cost Phoenix the lead of the race. It was a very good well-timed pit stop by the Mercedes driver and team. Oh, but that was not good. Fortunately, no damage. Unfortunately, there was that cost him some time, but fortunately, no damage at all. But yeah, we'll see if Rita comes out in front now. Ooh, as Conal and Jay Prentice are, glitching. Hardcore. So I don't even know what's going on there. So, yeah. But they are pretty close to each other, I would assume. Let's see, Black Phoenix has just set a purple second sector and is now coming into the pits. So let's monitor this. As Rita is coming almost around Jin Sao right now, just behind Trench. So let's see, Black Phoenix is pitting onto the mediums. Bun has a penalty as Rita is coming around. I think Phoenix will still be in the lead of the race, but by how much? Trench is staying up on these tires, as Phoenix is actually farther ahead than he was before, I think. Oh, no, he's not. Never mind. Yeah, I think Black Phoenix lost around 8/10 there. If Rita hadn't had that little moment coming out of the pits, I wonder how close they would be. But Trench would have always been there. He might have gone out in front of Trench though, so that would have been a major help for him. But yeah, now Legend versus Conal. DRS open for the Red Bull. Very bad cinematic camera angles there for the battle at hand. But yeah, Legend is passed. Up into P11. Here we go. Now we have Legend on J Prentice for P10, as seen by Conal, and Legend is through. So very nice overtake on both of them, both Conal and J by Legend. Well, let's see who comes out now in front, Anton or Jack. It's going to be quite close, and it is Jack in front, barely. We have Conal and Jay now fighting. Black Phoenix fastest lap with a 10.6. As Jizzy and Bazooka Joe are both pitting. And then we have Big Slater and Vapor Trench still on 17 lap old softs. As we have an incident, who is it? It is Jay, who's lost his whole front wing after an incident with turn 5. Thankfully, he's gonna ghost, since he unfortunately is a lapped car, but that's still going to guarantee that his race is very much so a very bad race, very unfortunate race for him. Unless someone else has gone off. I believe that's Anton who's gone off, I believe, and Shady has passed him. Anton went off at turn 1, I think. As now we have Flex Marcel chasing down Button. Button's tires must be going off now. As Big Slater and Trench both come into the pits. Ooh, and Trench gets a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Now we have Marcel overtaking Button here. Button on the more worn hards. As JJ has retired from the session, as Flex is past Button. And will we have a safety car now? Because there's a DNF at a very fast part of the track. A safety car would be logical, but we don't know yet. Oh, and here we go. Button is going back past Marcel. Oh, but they touch. Marcel comes back at Button, and Marcel is passed. And yeah, there'll be no safety car for JJig. But yeah, very unfortunate race for JJig there. Multiple incidents. Had to pit early on, I believe, and then yeah, the DNF there. Plus, he was already a lap down, so it was yeah, a very nightmare of a race today for him. Ooh, and the midfield is looking very very close once again. So let's see, Conal versus J Prentice. Here we go, Conal. Not using his DRS though, for some reason. Maybe it's broken. It might be broken. But trying to get past J Prentice on ERS and Slipstream alone, unfortunately for him, it didn't work. Or hasn't worked quite yet. Yeah, I think Conal, his DRS is broken, so very unfortunate for him. Maestro looking to pass Bazooka Joe as well. As we have Gamez and Jack battling for P13 right now. Ooh, as Jack gets a really squirmy out of the final corner. Ooh, as up here we have Trench and Legend side by side. Trench gets through for P6. As now we have Button 20 laps on the mediums, Shay 19 laps, and Conal 18 laps, who's coming into pit just now onto the softs. Ooh, as Legend and Vapor still going side by side. Ooh, a lot of contact. A lot of contact there. Trench diving it up again. A little bit more contact. Still clean though, still good. A huge dive there, or an attempted dive by Trench. Unfortunately for him, didn't work out. So Legend is currently in P6, Trench P7. But that might change on this straight here, as Button is coming in to the pits to go on to the softs, I would assume. Legend has some pretty good straight line speed there, and maintains that P6 current, well now P5 since Button pitted. Oh, but over here we have Racing Maestro on Gamez for P10. Ooh, it was a little bit of a collision, and Gamez has been half spun and hits the wall and loses some wing as well. Oh, as I believe Button coming out of the pits has lost some wing as well. Disaster pit stop for Button. Let's see. Yeah, on his right side, he's done what happened to Rita about 10 laps ago, or 8 laps ago, and has hit the wall on the exit, and now has a penalty as well for just for added measure there. So very, very, very bad pit stop. Very unfortunate series of events there for Button. His race is going to be severely hampered at this point. He'll have to pit or risk losing many seconds over the course of the race. At least probably 15 or 20 by the end. At least a second per lap, I would say. So yeah, Black Phoenix on lap 23 still leads from Rita, from Marcel, then Big Slater, Legend, Trench, and Jizzy for your top 7. As Gamez comes into the pits to repair that wing and get on a new set of softs to go to the end. Ooh, someone spun. It's Jack. I think he has damage as well on his right side. He's spun at one of the slow corners, or the more curved corner, I guess you could say. Ooh, he's almost spun again at the hairpin right after it. His tires are very hot right now. He cannot be pushing these tires. He's going to spin out again if he does. He has to be very careful. And there we go. Now he's back up to speed, albeit with damage. And he's actually down on fuel as well. So he's going to pit. Hopefully he can stop in time. He just stops in time. Now we're going to see Jay Prentice versus Conal here. Who can get out of the pits first? It's going to be quite close, but Conal will get it. So both Jack and Gamez in the pits. Oh, we have another VSC as Jack has gone straight on at turn 5. It's very strange. I'm not sure if that was on purpose or something big happened. But he's right in the wall at turn 5 there, and he's DNF'd. So another VSC. Very strange that we've had 2 DNFs, like full-on DNFs, but we haven't had a safety car yet. Was Gammas gets a penalty. Oh, and we're back to racing again. Ooh, as Anton pits, and Shady and J Prentice pass him. Button gets a penalty. As Flex is getting very close to Bazooka Joe here. Ooh, as Gammas has retired from the session as well. And we have Flex Marcel here overtaking just before the yellow zone, getting very lucky with the yellow zone there where it was. That it wasn't further back up the road, and we have a full safety car. We now have a full safety car. Finally, I would add, that's the third DNF before we have a safety car. I would say both of those incidents probably deserved something. They both got VSCs, and Jay got nothing. So, yeah, Jay was right in the middle of the track. But yeah, finally we have a safety car. This will spice things up for sure. So this is quite exciting for me. I hope that no one gets screwed over here though. So Black Phoenix coming into the pits. So is Rita. So is Shady, so is Anton, onto new softs. So is Prentice, J Prentice, and Pyro. Oh, and Legend has a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. That has completely ruined his chance of points now. Very, very, very unfortunate penalty there. As Vapor and Jizzy are coming in, Slater's coming in. Rita is just leaving as the safety car has picked up Black Phoenix. Sorry, not Trench. Yeah, everyone who's coming along into this pit straight is coming in. Ooh, and J Prentice has been disqualified from the session for ignoring yellow flags. What? That's awful. Oh my god. Okay, J Prentice out of the session now, apparently. He was running P14. His chance of points weren't the highest, but still, he still deserves to finish this race. So it's very unfortunate what happened to him there. And so has Pyro been disqualified as well. I'm very confused with what's happening right now. I'm extremely confused. Is this a glitch or because like it appears that they're still in the race? So yeah, very confused here on lap 27, almost 28 of 36. As we have 4 people behind the safety car now, about to pick up the 5th and 6th and 7th. As Jack has left the session. And alright, so now it's going to be a soft sprint, except for Marcel and Maestro and J Prentice, to the end. But yeah, very odd. It said that both of them were disqualified, but they're still in the race. So I'm very confused. But I guess it's a good thing that they're still in the race. Well, it is a good thing that they're still in the race. And J Prentice might actually pick up a spot on Legend here. Yeah, like the motions of the wheels definitely look like they're being player controlled, not AI controlled. So I'm very confused with what just happened. But alright, so safety car should be in this lap, I would assume, as everyone is lining up. The top 10 are now in formation. Alright, maybe it's next lap. Yeah, it will be next lap, I believe. As Colonel gets a penalty for ignoring yellow flags. I'm really wondering what that's meaning. Because, like, they're under safety car. Like, no one's passing anybody here. There's no yellow flag being ignored at all. Ooh, as someone's just gone off there. Not sure who that was. I think it was Anton, actually, who had to weave out of the way of a car. As Legend has retired from the session. Yeah, his race was, unfortunately, was pretty much over in terms of the hunt for points anyway, but still unfortunate to see him not complete the full distance by the end. Alright, so safety car is definitely in this lap. Ooh, as Pyro has just accidentally overtaken J Prentice, huh? But alright, we're about to get going now in just a few seconds. Alright, so safety car is, of course, in this lap. Alright, so everyone is queuing up behind Black Phoenix as he goes now. Followed by Rita, Marcel, Slater, and Jizzy. Then a little bit of a gap to the cars behind. Ooh, Fox Marcel almost touching with Rita. Down the straight they go. The second straight they go. Maestro has a penalty for multiple warnings. Ooh, Big Slater and Flex Marcel touching there, but Big Slater's passed. Now Jizzy looking for a move on Marcel. Ooh, J Prentice hitting Shay T there and then hitting him a second time, losing some of his wing. Anton and Conal battling it out, as seen from Shay's perspective. Bun almost touching with Bazooka Joe. Ooh, Torasso's touching together. Now Jizzy fighting with Marcel and Slater fighting with Rita, as Black Phoenix is slightly pulling away. He's out of DRS range right now, so that's very crucial for these final 7 laps of the race. Well, now 6 laps, as of now. A 109.9, very quick time by the leader of the race. Slater is past Rita, but he has a penalty. So let's see how that plays into or how that comes into effect. Here we go, Shay T versus J Prentice for P12 here. J Prentice keeps the spot. Now for P8, ooh, Bun taps the back of Bazooka Joe. Three-second time penalty for J Prentice. As no DRS is enabled quite yet. It will be enabled in this lap, I believe, or next lap. 109.7 for Black Phoenix for the fastest lap. Oh yeah, here we go. DRS is enabled. Konal can't get past Anton though, for the moment, at least. But yeah, the top three have pulled away again. Well, again. But that's probably because Flex is on the mediums, so the softs versus the mediums is going to be a big difference anyway, of course. But Flex is doing a very good job of holding everyone behind him. Two soft runners. Then we have Maestro holding in some soft runners, and we have Jay Prentice holding up soft runners too. So, a lot of close action here. Well, I wouldn't say holding up, I would say more like defending from. So, that's probably a more appropriate word to use, or phrase to use. Here we go, Jizzy on Marcel. Not close enough though, unfortunately. Oh, it is close enough. Well, sort of. Ooh, and we have an incident. It's Jay Prentice. And he is backwards into the wall. Shady has retired from the session. And there's a VSC now. As Jay Prentice's race is effectively ruined. As he's lost a lot of wing and he's dead last. And he's retired from the session. So yeah, we have a VSC now. This will be the last safety car variation we'll have this race. Guaranteed, I think. But yeah, Big Slater was just on the tail of Phoenix here when that happened. So let's see if Slater can win this race. Slater closed up a lot on Black Phoenix. I thought Black was safe, but Big Slater is quite close to him now. And so here we go. DRS enabled. Slater versus Phoenix versus Rita. Lock up from Rita into turn 1. Ooh, that's back here. We have some battling too. Bazooka Joe versus Maestro. Here we go. Bazooka Joe around the outside doing a Verstappen on Racing Maestro. And now we have guys battling behind as well. Anton trying to go for the move around the outside of Maestro, having to go off the track. This could get hairy. Ooh, a little bit of a getting a little bit loose there. As Gamas has left the session. Flex, Marcel, and Jizzy now battling as well. This is a very intense final few laps, just like the real life Brazilian Grand Prix last year. But yeah, Black Phoenix still leading, Slater still second, Rita still third, Flex still defending very well from all the cars behind. Or from about 5 cars behind at the moment, all on softs. Yep, it's just a big DRS train right now, so not much gains. But Bazooka Joe, or Anton on Bazooka Joe rather, They touch. Anton has to go off. He gets a penalty for it. That could play into effect by the end of the race for sure, with only 2 laps to go. Now we have Vapor versus Flex versus Jizzy. Side by side. Ooh, Jizzy gets touched a little bit. Ooh, another touch. Onto Marcel this time. Ooh, onto the curb there. Vapor has to get off of it quickly. He would have spun there and caused a big and had a big accident. As here we go, Konal versus Bazooka Joe side by side. They're ghosting into one another. As here we go, about to go on to the final lap, 36 of 36. It's been quite a race, but it's not over yet. Maestro and Bun fighting very hard. It's going to be another slipstream train. But let's see if Slater can get past or get close to Black Phoenix here. Will he go for the dive? He will go for the dive. They're side by side. Big Slater takes the lead of the Brazilian Grand Prix on the last lap. But Black Phoenix will have DRS now. Maximum ERS as well. Will it be enough though? It's not going to be enough to get him into corner number 5. As Pyro is out of the race. Or has spun. And so has Anton. Anton spun as well. Everyone's fighting extremely hard in this last lap. Oh, Huge accident there between Flux Marcel and Trench. And, huge accident at the corner we feared this might happen at. Just like Season 2, there's been an accident at turn 6, hopping onto the curb, getting a little bit loose, I would assume, and just having a tank slapper into the wall. But at the moment, it is currently Black Phoenix versus Big Slater up to the line. It's 3/10 of a difference, under 3/10 plus DRS with penalties. Let's see how this plays out. Big Slater wins the race, but Black Phoenix gets it on penalties. So it's Black Phoenix, Big Slater, V Rita. Jizzy comes home in P4. Conal comes home P5. Bazooka Joe P4. Jizzy P5. Conal P6. Racing Maestro P7. Buns back P8. Flux Marcel P7. And Pyro will come home in P10. Finishing the race. Finishing off the race. There we go. Wow, what a crazy few final laps that was. That was very exciting. One of my favorites, for sure, of all time for Rising Phoenix. That I've been around for, at least. But yeah. Black Phoenix is your official, winner. So congrats to him. It was a very good battle from all drivers. Really, there not much that I can complain about in terms of dirty driving or any sort of illegal tactics. You know, it was really hard racing. A few cars got punted a little bit. A few cars got shoved off the track, but it wasn't intentional and it wasn't malicious, and it was very minor overall. You know, except for the accident at the end, of course. But obviously that was an accident. That was not like a dirty maneuver on purpose. But yeah, we'll have to see. But yeah, Black Phoenix, no penalties throughout the race. Same with Bazooka Joe. Same with Shay T. Let's see if anyone else. But yeah, Shay T, Bazooka Joe, and Black Phoenix. Your only non-penalty finishers. So yeah, here are your results. And yeah, thank you for watching. And from everyone here at Rising Phoenix, thank you for watching and listening. And we hope you enjoyed. And we will see you, hopefully, tomorrow for, I believe it's Australia in the next. So 29 laps of Australia coming up tomorrow, 8 p.m. BST. Yeah, we will see you then. So goodbye and see you shortly.